Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and Doctor Strange with his new uniform is absolutely busted. There's just no other way to put it. He's insanely good, and I hope I'll be able to, properly illustrate that for you right now because he's crazy. And I actually want to show you guys a few different moves because here we're actually not using his tier 3 just yet. Specifically against Mephisto, what we're basically doing is stalling the tier 3 to use it to dodge the cage because there's no more refresh on the skills. But what there is instead of refresh on the skill is just insane DPS and insane damage. So what you're seeing here is sort of a makeshift rotation, but it honestly gets the job done. We're going to do this full clear here, but he is absolutely nuts now. And the rotation, the way you play him is different than before because he just does so much damage with his 1, 2, 3, 4, and his 5 just amplifies the damage of those skills so much that it's actually pretty nuts. Now here we actually had a little bit of an error. That's okay. We're going to just keep going and sort of play through that. We're also going to remember that we can use his 6th skill to dodge the symbiote buildup, which is what we're going to do now. So we're going to play really aggressively, but I just want to show you what he can do before we go in and talk about specifics as far as, how you want to build him and those sort of things go. Because this dude is absolutely nuts. I'm going to drag Null back into the tier 3 skill. We're actually going to wait because we're sort of off our rotational, like the cooldown's not lining up here with his regular skills. But man, he hits like a truck. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Yeah. So what we're going to do, you want to prioritize basically the 5. And then right after the 5, you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Just trust me on this one. You gotta. Because it just hits so freaking hard. Yo, I've never done that before. I never skipped the dragon phase. Okay, we're going to have to play this part more conservatively. I'm just going to wait for Thor to come in because we don't have the 6th skill ready. But it's okay because we're on pace for our best clear ever. That was crazy. Wow. Yeah, he just does so much damage now, and it's to the point where, because 5 amplifies his other skills, as I'll show you, you basically don't really need the 6 for very many things, because the combo of 1, 2, 3, and 4 after 5 is just so insanely good. So it's a really interesting change for Doctor Strange. RIP to the spam rotation, it's gone now, but he honestly feels so much more powerful. Not only because he is more powerful, but because his power is just in such a, it's balanced so differently. So we just obliterated stage 34, just like dismantled, just absolutely dismantled stage 34. And I'm not going to show you a comparison side by side, but just to give you an idea, I tested out Mephisto, my Mephisto, same cards, of course. My Mephisto has a mighty CTP of Judgment, and I put this team, which is actually the best team possible for Mephisto because the elemental damage increase is better than the raw energy attack, and Mephisto was like 30 to 40 seconds slower. And like I said, Mephisto is a native tier 3, and he's got a mighty CTP of Judgment, and he's got multiple Odin's Blessings, right? He's got over 10 Odin's Blessings. So it's actually disgusting. It's actually nuts how good Doctor Strange is. Here's the build. He's got 3 Odin's Blessings. I actually just chucked the magic Odin's Blessing on him. We've got the type 5 blast enhancement. We've got Power of Angry Hulk. Now this is a bit more important than it used to be because with the old uniforms, with all of the old uniforms for Doctor Strange, his 5th skill, which is what you started all of your combos with, would give him this crazy 80% attack buff, and it would also give him an all speed buff. Yeah, 20% all speed for 7 seconds. So you didn't really have to invest in attack speed anymore. Now, the attack speed is not that important the way it used to be because of the spamming. So the attack speed is a little bit less important now, but it's more important because you lost that attack speed buff. He still has an attack speed buff on images of Icon, but I honestly think you should max out his attack speed. So I do think that Power of Angry Hulk is going to be a little bit better for you, especially if you're missing like 4, 5, 6% attack speed. If you're only missing like 1 or 2% attack speed, not a big deal. I was missing a lot. I was missing like 5%. So I switched from Overdrive to Power of Angry Hulk. I know that a lot of players have had the same build on Doctor Strange for 5 years now because he's been the same, right? All these uniforms did not change his build. They just sort of improved upon the build that we had all come to know and love, which is the spam rotation. So I know that you guys are sort of looking to see whether or not you should change his build. So you'll be happy to know that I just destroyed that stage with the same CTP of Rage that I've had on Doctor Strange for years. So does he still work with the CTP of Rage? Yes. Can you still dominate with Doctor Strange with the CTP of Rage? Yes, absolutely. However, here's the best part. There are now other options for him. That's the best part. Some people are going to see that as a negative. They'll be, oh no, I don't want to play Doctor Strange with a proc or whatever. You don't have to. He kicks ass with a CTP of Rage. But if you want to try him with a proc, or if for whatever reason you don't have a CTP of Rage anymore, he can now function with an obelisk. It's not the easiest rotation in the world, but he can definitely do it. He's definitely much more flexible than he used to be. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on under the hood with Doctor Strange and why this is such a special uniform for him. So you've got his regular skills here. You got the buzzsaw. You've got this one where he opens up a portal and he jumps through it and he comes back out. Okay, you've got this beam skill. Now this looks like a V-pad skill, but it's not. He will always travel in a counterclockwise sort of semicircle direction no matter what. He always does that. Then his fourth skill, very cool, also from the trailers. He summons these red orbs, very reminiscent of Wanda's Darkhold magic, and they sort of hover up there and explode. Now, 1, 2, and 4 are basically instantly cancelable. You can basically instantly cancel them, and you get all of those effects. You're going to lose some of the hits on 2, but you basically get everything else. It's just 3 that's not cancelable because, of course, the beam. So if I try to cancel 3, you can see I don't get the beam. So ideally, your rotation after you do 5 would just be 4, 2, 1, 3. And you can just take it slow unless you're using a proc. Then you want to go really quick like that. You actually can't go that quick. As you can see, you have to delay forward just a little bit. You're going to have to practice it. I'm still not good enough to practice it. You have to wait until he raises his arms up, basically. 1 and 2 you can cancel instantly. Before, you have to wait just like half a second for Doctor Strange to raise his hands in order for those red orbs to appear. But here's the really special part. When you pop the 5, not only does he give himself a buff, but he enhances 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what that means is, not only does this look gorgeous, but now 4, you're going to see there's 3 Doctor Stranges. It's kind of hard to see, so I'll show you again with his third skill. Every single one of his skills now, you can see 1, 2, 3. There's 3 Doctor Stranges. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 Doctor Stranges. 1, 2, 3 portals. There's 3 portals. There's 3 Doctor Stranges. Just like Spider-Man No Way Home. There's 3 Spider-Men. There's 3 Doctor Stranges. And they can all fit on my massive, shiny forehead. So that is why the 5th skill is on a 10-second cooldown, like a 20-second cooldown. That's, you know, moved down to 10 seconds when you have max skill cooldown. Because the 5 literally triples your damage, right? So that's why I'm saying, and that's why I cleared it in that null clear. I was like, you know what? I don't really need to do the 6 right now because the 6 takes so long. You can't cancel it until there, right? When you see the clones, that's when you can cancel. It takes so long. And so if your 5 is off cooldown, do not do 6 because you're wasting tons of damage. If your 5 is off cooldown and your 6 is up, do your 5. Well, don't do it that fast, but do your 5-4-1-2-3 combo. Right? Do your 5-4-1-2-3 combo, and then after 3, go into 6. You're going to get way more damage out of that. Another thing you can do is just cancel 6 right away. Some people have been experimenting with that as well, because if you just cancel 6 right away, I believe you still get some of the buffs from the 6th skill, but then you don't have to wait. So that's an alternative, that's an alternative skill rotation that you can go with here. We're going to wait till all of these skills, the skill buffs refresh, and then I'm just going to cancel 6 into 5. So you can see here I have no buffs up. So there we go. I got the buffs and I'm gone. So you can absolutely do that as well, and you can still have really good results. Now, you'd only cancel 6 aggressively like that if 5 is ready. If 5 is not ready, don't press 5. Like, don't cancel 6, right? Let 6 play out. Also, keep in mind that his 6th skill is now his only skill that has iframe ignore. He lost the iframe ignore on his 1st skill. So unless you have his artifact, you can use the 6th skill offensively when bosses are moving around and doing that sort of thing in order to like punish them and get extra hits in, or basically just to use up your 6th skill so you can start charging up the next one, right? So that's how he works with a CTP of Rage. I think he's going to be very, very good for you. I honestly think he might be the best blast character, blast male character in the game. I really, when I can't sort by male here, okay? When I look at all the blast types for PvE content, I think Mephisto and Sharon Rogers and maybe Emma and maybe Adam Warlock, but I'm not sure. I don't even think Adam Warlock can keep up with him. There's basically nobody else in the blast category. In other categories, sure. But in terms of blast types, I think he takes the cake by a large margin. And like I said, he's out competing Mephisto, who has a mighty CTP of Judgment, right? It's just absolutely bonkers. So I didn't want to make a video covering, like, I didn't want to unequip the Rage and then come back to the Rage later, because I know a lot of you have a Rage on him now. So what I'm going to do now that you've seen how good he can be with a Rage, I'm actually going to unequip the Rage, and I'm going to give him an obelisk proc, and we're just going to mess around for a bit and see if he can, like, if I can get him to proc consistently with an obelisk, because then that will tell us how difficult it's going to be to then transition to a CTP of energy, a mighty CTP of energy, a CTP of destruction, a mighty CTP of destruction, so on and so forth. All right, so I got this crit damage, crit rate, 140 proc obelisk. It's nothing too fancy here, but we just wanted to make sure that his stats were all capped. So basically everything is yellow except for the dodge that just is about 4% off cap. That's fine. Now let's see how he does. We're going to go to a lower stage of Null. We're going to go to some stages of other bosses and see how he does. All right, let's see here. You're basically... Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, see, if you can just avoid a little bit of hits, you know, then you get a crate. Like, the risk reward is just insanely high, right? We get it? Yep, we got it. Look at that. Look at that. Oof, easy, like 10 bars. Crazy. Crazy damage. Really, really nuts damage. And so, if you do miss a proc, what you can basically do is delay your next rotation in order to line it up properly. But that definitely takes practice. He's definitely not easy to proc on. I do want to say that right now ahead of time, just so that it's pretty clear. So here we missed our proc. So we're basically just going to take the next proc really slowly so we can nail it. No, we still didn't nail it. I think we just procced on an auto attack by accident. Okay, yeah, that wasn't really what I wanted either. So there we sort of missed 2 procs back to back, because I wasn't good enough at delaying it. And it definitely takes practice to delay your proc when you miss one in order to line up the next one. It definitely takes practice doing that. Okay, so here, we're just going to pop the 6. We're not going to... There we go, we nailed it. Yeah, you can see totally different. 4 or 5 bars easy when you do hit it. Easy, wow. Like, the damage when you do hit it is crazy good. It's just that when you don't hit it, you miss a proc. I mean, here's the thing, though. Doctor Strange... Here's the thing that I never thought I would say, especially for Doctor Strange. His damage is so nutty. His damage is so high that you may just want to live with the fact that you're going to miss a proc now and then. If that makes sense. Because when you do nail the proc, it's like 7 bars, 8. Like, the damage is bananas, right? The damage is bananas. Now here, we're in a bit of a pickle because the 5 is not on cooldown, right? So we're going to pop the 6 here. And then we're just going to do the other skills without 5's buff. Then we're going to pop the co-op. Then we're going to pop the 5 here. No, we're going to get knocked back. Okay. So getting knocked back is pretty bad. I don't know if the 5 got removed. The buffs from the 5 got removed. It looks like they did. Okay, so you got to be really careful then during this particular phase versus Null. Because otherwise, if he knocks you out of the 5 in this last phase, then you don't get the buffs. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 aren't buffed. That was still pretty easy. That was a Rage CTP down to a 140 proc. I was using Wong's passive support and then the CTP of Insight on Colossus. We also took a lot of damage with Colossus's passive, so yeah. But it's definitely a lot more difficult to proc for him with an obelisk. So I'll test him out with the CTP of Energy. It may be worth the trade-off of missing a proc now and then. Or maybe there's a better rotation that I haven't thought of just yet. I haven't had, too long to play with this character, even though a few days have already passed since the update, because we've been swamped with events and new things like that. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of this sort of reverse review, where instead of starting from an obelisk and working our way up to a CTP, we started with a CTP, which was magical, and worked our way down to an obelisk, which is honestly still really impressive. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching. and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.